So the policy directive if Trump becomes president again, is to protect white people from woke policies, to protect white people from black and brown people.
I don't know if you guys called this, but he said when Donald Trump becomes president, because again, I think majority of us understand he's going to. But he said protect white people from black and brown. Black and brown. Yeah. It's not so much to protect white people from black and brown, but to protect people of all colors from people that are breaking the law. That's what the issue is. And again, I don't think Dr. Richey likes to be honest about that stuff. He doesn't like to be honest about the fact that over half of all violent crime in the country is committed by 13% of the population. So, black people, while they're a very small portion of the population, or the overall population, they commit over half of all violent crime in the country. But what Donald Trump wants to do is he wants to protect the country from the woke policies of defund the police, no bail, that kind of stuff.
That's a hell of a story here, but true. Per Axios, close allies of Donald Trump want to dramatically change the government's interpretation of civil rights era laws if Trump returns to the White House. The overhaul would focus on, quote, anti-white racism. That's going to be the new thing. Anti-white racism rather than discrimination against people of color. Keep up his picture. They're admitting that racism exists. Now, before they said racism does not exist, that America is not a racist country, that America has never been a racist country, that America was not built on racist principles, but all of a sudden, they're now embracing that racism is probably an actual thing.
And again, when you go out and you look for somebody of a certain race, because again, you have to meet a certain quota. You have to interview so many black and brown people. You have to interview so many women. You have to hire so many black or brown people or women. Again, what you're doing is you're discriminating against other people. Because again, what you're saying is, I have to hire so many of these people. So many. And if I don't, then I'm not going to meet the quota. But instead, what they should be doing is focused on finding the best candidate for their job. Doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter if they're male, female. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they're white or black. It does not matter. What does matter is getting the right person for the job. So again, we have to understand whenever we look for people of a particular race or gender, what we're doing is we're discriminating against other people.
A CBS poll last November found that 58% of Trump supporters or Trump voters believe people of color have an advantage. So damn near 60% of Trump voters believe that black people have black privilege. And that this black privilege gives us a particular advantage in the workplace and in education, while just 9% of Biden voters said the same. The poll also showed, however, that Trump is gaining support among Black and Latino voters. That's because many of them are disinterested in the failed leadership of Biden, especially as it relates to things like humanitarian efforts and being decisive here in America. Trump's Justice Department will push to eliminate or upend programs in government and corporate America that are designed to counter racism that has favored whites. Targets would range from decades-old policies aimed at giving minorities economic opportunities to more recent programs that began in response to the pandemic and the killing of George Floyd. Trump campaign spokesperson said, quote, as President Trump has said, all staff, offices, and initiatives connected to Biden's un-American policy will be immediately terminated. They added, President Trump is committed to weeding out discriminatory programs and racist ideology across the federal government. Longtime aides and allies preparing for a potential second Trump administration have been laying legal groundwork with a flurry of lawsuits and legal complaints, some which have been successful. Now, if you remember, I said this was coming.
Yep, and they would be 100% right. And they would be 100% right. There is black privilege. You can say whatever you want, but there is. I mean, whenever you have policies that mandate that you hire so many people of color, so many people. Yeah. And again, they're trying to correct the past. You can't correct the past. You can't do anything about the past. And again, when you allow policies that push up certain people over the top of others, what you're doing is you're discriminating in the present against people that did nothing wrong to anyone. And you're helping out people that had nothing done wrong to them. I mean, can you imagine, man, some 25-year-old saying, hey, I was born in 1998, or 99 now, but I'm discriminated against. I had to overcome so much. No, you did. No, you did not. And again, the only hardship that you faced came from your parents or your grandparents, whoever raised you. But it's not because of the color of your skin. Go somewhere with that. I mean, so when you have policies that say, hey, I can legally discriminate against you because you're white. I can let the black person in who might score less. Because again, we need more black people to work here, or more black people in school here, or whatever. That is discrimination, and that is black privilege.
America First Legal, founded by former Trump aide Stephen Miller. He's back. Who has called the group of conservatives long-awaited answer to the ACLU. End quote. America First cited the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in a lawsuit against CBS and Paramount Global for what they argued was discrimination against Brian Beneker, a white straight man who was a writer for the CBS show SEAL Team in 2017. Axios reports that also in February, the group filed a civil rights complaint against the NFL over its Rooney Rule, named for Dan Rooney, a late owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which requires teams to interview at least 2 minority candidates for vacant general manager, head coach, and coordinator positions. You got to think about how extreme this is. Keep the picture up. They're saying, listen, we don't want you even interviewing a certain number of black or brown candidates for the position. We don't want you even to interview them, let alone hire them. So if they're successful at saying you don't have to interview them, naturally, they can make the argument there's no need to have a hiring mandate or a diversity protocol whatsoever, because once again, obviously that's racist to white people, but racism only exists against white America, according to them.
Man, nobody's saying that we should only interview 2 black people. Nobody said that. You're making stuff up. Nobody said that at all. They're saying that you have to hire so many black people. You have to interview at least 2, whatever. But when you mandate that they have to interview at least so many black people, they're saying, hey, we're making you do this, even if you can't find people that you want, that you would hire from that demographic. You have to at least interview them. Again, that is wrong. You interview and hire people based on their qualifications, based on whether or not you think they would do a good job with your company. That's it. That's all there is. Anything else is discrimination. Because again, what you're saying is we have to hire so many black people, so many brown people, so many females, whatever. We have to hire so many. And again, we can't even look at the white candidates. Not for if we had to hire 10 black people for those jobs, guess what? We can't even look at a white person. We can't. We have to hire so many black people, so many females. And again, that is discrimination.
Miller's group successfully sued to block the implementation of a $29 billion pandemic-era program for women and minority-owned restaurants, saying it discriminated against white-owned businesses. Quote, this ruling is the first but crucial step towards ending government-sponsored racial discrimination, Miller said then. Follow the tapestry. Other Trump-aligned groups are preparing for a future Trump Justice Department to implement or challenge policies on a broader scale. The Heritage Foundation's well-funded Project 2025 envisions a second Trump administration ending what it calls affirmative discrimination. I mean, you have to give it to them. They are really on point with this branding stuff. Affirmative discrimination. There's more. Put them up. Part of the plan written by former Trump Justice Department official and America First Legal's General Counsel Gene Hamilton argues that, quote, advancing the interest of certain segments of American society comes at the expense of other Americans. He's talking about white people. And in nearly all cases violates longstanding federal law, end quote. Such groups have gained momentum with the Supreme Court's turn to the right, most notably the recent rejection of affirmative action in college admissions. It already has permeated to college scholarships. The court ruled that programs designed to benefit people of color and address past injustices discriminate against white and Asian Americans. In 2021, a federal judge blocked a $4 billion grant program to help black farmers, even though black farmers were discriminated against specifically by this government. Earlier this month, another federal judge ruled that the Commerce Department's Minority Business Development Agency was discriminating against white people and that the program had to be open to everyone.
Everything should be open to everyone, regardless of the color of their skin. You can't prop certain people up and hold other ones down because of things that happened in the past, because of slavery. You can't do that. I mean, you can try, but what you're doing is you're discriminating against white people in the present and Asian people in the present because of things that happened in the past. They had nothing to do with them or had nothing to do with the black people that are alive today. All you can do is have things open to everyone. That anything less is discrimination. And again, people have to understand that. It needs to be open to everyone, regardless. And again, if black farmers were discriminated against at one time in the past, I get that. And that was wrong if they were. And I agree that all kinds of discrimination took place at one time. But it's not happening now. And it hasn't happened for many, many, many years. The thing is, you don't like white men. That's what the issue is. You're fine with them being discriminated against. You're fine. You have no problem with that. I think you need to look in the mirror and you'd ask yourself, do I like discrimination towards white people, towards white men? Because it's clear that you do.
Here we are. It's right in front of you. Trump's America. Are you still questioning what Make America Great Again means to them? It's make America white again. Make America white, male, and dominated again. Let's be very clear about the founding of this country. This country was founded on the principles of being able to own another group and silencing everyone who did not have money and wealth and who happened to, not be white. You had to be a white male that owned property to participate in government. You see, the country was founded on the principles of insecurities. I know some of you may get offended by that because I'm talking about the founding fathers of the nation.
We can't go backwards. We can't. And that's what this is doing. Whenever you have policies that allow discrimination against one group over another because you're trying to make up for whatever happened in the past, first of all, you can't do that. It's not possible. But when you do that, you discriminate in the present. And that's what's happening. And again, we have to realize, man, when you prop some groups up over others, you wind up not only with legal discrimination, but you wind up with social discrimination. Again, you can say whatever you want about a white man. If he's 50 years old, you can have some 20-year-old black kid call some 50-year-old white man a white boy. But if you have some 20-year-old white kid that calls some 50-year-old black man a black boy, oh my God. People would lose their damn mind. Racist. That's racism. But it's okay the other way around. It is totally okay. Nobody bats an eye. And I've witnessed that myself. It happened to me. Somebody said that, online. They don't care. Nobody said a word about that. But, yeah. So again, we got to understand, whenever you start putting down one group or giving one group special privilege over that other, yeah, you're setting things up not only legally, but socially to give the other group preference. And again, we have to realize it happened with men and women. Again, we all of a sudden became popular to criticize men on television. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say about a man's weight, about a man's appearance. You can say whatever you want to say, but not about a woman's, because they would lose their damn mind. That's not nice. You can't say that. Me too, whatever. You can't do that. But, I mean, again, you can say whatever about a man. No problem. No problem. So again, we have to recognize, man, they want to eliminate any kind of policy that says you can prop one group up over another because you're trying to remedy the past. Because there's no way you can do that. There's no way you can ever do that. The past is over. And again, if somebody wants to do something, they can do it if they put the effort towards doing it. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.